Imagine this, you've just finished mixing the best song you've ever made, and now you're looking for mastering. And with all the different services out there, picking one can be really difficult. And one of the questions you might have is, should you go with a mastering engineer or with an instant mastering service? And that is the exact question that I want to answer today. So, let's get started. So the song that I'm going to use is called Funk Heaven, and it's made by an artist called Adore. Links to everything that I'm talking about in this video will be in the description down below. So the first service that I want to try is a mastering engineer, a real person, not a computer algorithm. And I have chosen to go with George, who is also a very, very good friend of mine. And he runs a mastering service called Worldwide Mastering. And he's doing that from his own Sound Vision studio. All right, so we switched rooms. We're still in the same building, but we're now in Sound Vision studio. I've got George over here. So what I think could be a cool story to start off to tell the viewers is how we met each other.
I can tell you one thing. Being on holidays in August 2011, I got a bunch of emails from a guy called Wietse. And can I come for an internship in your studio? And I was on holiday, so I thought, okay, he can wait. But he couldn't wait. Emailing. So I answered him, okay, just come by. The 22nd, it was, I think, 22nd of August 2011. He came to my studio door, he rang the bell, and I opened the door, and there was Wietse. And I asked him, do you have a girlfriend, or do you want to have a cup of coffee? And he answered, both. So, cool. Yeah.
This story is more true than you might think.
Yes, it is absolutely true. And you know, the nicest thing about it is, first time I saw him, his hair was like here. And since that time, he didn't cut his hair anymore. So this is the result, yeah.
I know you as almost everything except for a mastering engineer. And now you've started mastering as well for like a year now or something.
Yes, a little more, yeah.
Why did you make the choice to also start mastering?
It started automatically because doing production, writing songs, mixing, producing, and on the end, something had to happen before my client listens to the song. And I started doing some small mastering so they could hear the results, which would come up in the end. Yeah, and I went on and I thought, okay, let's buy some nice gear to make it much better. And before I knew it, I had a mastering chain, and it's passion, you know. You're producing the track, you're mixing, and then you finally make it to the best. So it started out of passion for my clients.
I don't think that the viewers have to wonder about which side of the analog or digital argument you are, if we look around here.
I think it's a really good question.
There's a lot of analog gear.
Yeah.
But shall we take a look at your mastering chain, at the gear that you're actually using for mastering?
Yeah, would love to do that.
All right, so where do you start? What's the first part of your chain?
Basically, I start with the Neve limiter, the 2254A. Yeah, this piece brings a lot of life air into the track. Yeah, it's really
a museum piece.
Yes, yeah. It comes from a U-boat, I think.
It at least looks like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
yeah.
So you start with the Neve, and from there we move on to
the George Massenburg EQ. This one is very surgical, very neutral, so you can really go to details or remove details if you don't like it.
Maybe a little bit like the Fab filter, but then a hardware version. Like
yes, this one you can use it by hand. Absolutely, I like Fab filter very much because it's very versatile, very clean. It does what it has to do.
It's the analog Fab filter EQ.
Yes, you can say something like
just
that.
Just for the viewers, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and from there, because we are surgical.
Okay, this one's surgical, neutral. Then we go to color, pull tags, both. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they need any explanation?
No, not much. I think.
No.
Just listen and feel it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really great. A lot of tubes and color.
All right, so you're coloring it with the pool tags. We're of course going to hear them all.
Yeah.
And from there you are going to do?
I'm going to the Masterchannel multiband limiter.
So a three-band multiband compressor.
Yes.
Analog multiband compressor.
Analog.
Really
Everything
cool.
we do is analog.
And do we have anything more in the chain, or?
Yeah, I use on some kind of end limiting, I use distressors because I love some kind of distorted compression as much as you like, because you can tune them in how you want them.
So they're more in the chain for color.
Color, and it brings some very nice saturation kind of sound.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I don't use it always. Depends.
Yeah,
it
depends on the
really
track.
depends on the track and what it needs. And of course, that's for
with everything.
all.
Yeah. Because you've also got a few. I'm seeing a few Chandler units. Like that rack is more expensive than the camera we're filming with. Like,
yeah.
Do you use them as well, or are they just there
absolutely?
To impress the client?
It's all for the mastering chain, and it depends on the track. So when I use this one, we have really some kind of different kind of music, kind of tracks to use on. But it's all analog, great stuff to work with.
And I think we're forgetting one piece, one very important, or actually two very important pieces. Yes.
Tuned PMCs by Leonard.
Leonard, the same guy that made Quasar.
I loved them before he tweaked them, but after tweaking, it was unbelievable. Surgical.
Yeah, and
you hear exactly what you do. Yeah.
Speakers are so important.
Yeah, it is in your ears. You know?
All right.
Yeah.
So shall we go master something?
That would be nice.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Cool. So, little disclosure, George didn't hear the track until now, which I think is actually fair. So, let's get really started from the start, from where you normally start mastering.
Listening to the track. Very nice track.
Thanks.
Very well done.
So, I do have a question now that you've heard the track. Are there any specific things that you're focusing on during such a first listen?
I feel the track. That's what I normally do. I listen to the track and I adopt it, the form, the dynamics, and how it feels, and how the performance can be done after mastering.
And knowing you already know the chords and
yes,
like
I can't
everything.
help it. Yeah.
So first step.
First step, I'm going to use my my limiter.
It's your time, you can dance, let yourself be free. With your hope and your strength, you could pave the way. It's the light in the dark, tell me, won't you stay? Stay, stay, stay. Run, you watch, you're in shock, this is not your place. Place, funk heaven.
Bon.
Also, levels, input levels, output levels, so important.
So your gain staging is like
very precise. Yeah, very precise.
Out of sight, out of mind, egocentric love, love, love.
Brings it more to life.
Try to see calling danger in the valley of tears.
So we started from this point.
Yeah.
All in vain.
First step.
Yeah.
Is this real? Makes no
Really saucy, or
Yeah, it's saucy. It's
difficult to describe the word.
it's very difficult to describe.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of dull.
Yeah.
Stars are going to merge.
This is one
It's
compressor.
one piece. Yeah,
One compressor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa. Are you sure? Yeah, okay, yeah, everything is bypassed. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
let's start off to the GML.
The Gmail, the George Massenburg, yeah.
And first thing I noticed, it's very well mixed, and I like the track very much. What I normally also do when I think things can be better into mixing, which would benefit the mastering, I always communicate about that.
Yeah, of course.
That's very important. Yeah.
That's like the added benefit of having a mastering engineer.
Yes, and to be honest, I'm a musician, and so I think that meets very well, because you listen to a track differently. I use my ears and my passion for the track, and not only the technical stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's go for some EQ now.
Yeah.
I want to bring the track a little closer. It's not far away, but I can bring it a little closer, I think. Without?
Yeah. Wow. So you're
It's only
bringing the vocal close.
yeah, the vocal, and I like also the snare.
Try to see, calling you're in the valley of tears. Try to see, all in vain. Is this real? Makes no sense. Get me out to here. Get me out.
Without?
Oh yeah. Maybe do a level matched version.
It's your time, you can dance, let yourself be free. With your
Oh,
hope and your strength, you could pave the way.
it's already getting a little bit more of commercially accepted sound. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
More life into it.
Yeah.
You stay.
And now we go up to the pool text.
Yeah, the pool tags. Yeah. I want them as well. Yeah.
This is not
Okay.
your place. Place. Funk heaven. Ooh, heaven is the place you want to be. Heaven is the place you paralyzed, you feel caged, you're the stranger here. You're the stranger here. You are out of sight, out of mind, egocentric love. Love, love, love. Try to see, call in vain, you're in the valley of tears. Try to see.
And then listen to the low end.
So band for band.
Yeah, band by band.
Band by band.
Yeah. First I'm going to listen to the attack of the low end.
What are you looking for in that attack?
That the low end, the kick, is that it has attack and that it's long enough and not short.
The kick really
Yeah,
pushes
yes,
through.
yeah, yes,
yeah,
and,
okay.
and keeps sustain.
Yeah.
Here, this is the biggest difference.
So now you're really flattening the kick.
Yeah.
And now, yeah. So you want the kick to survive the compression. Actually.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I do the same for the mids.
Yeah. And now I think with the snare or something.
Exactly, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yourself be free.
So just making sure that
To keep
those-
the energy.
and the transients and the
Yeah.
Hope and your strength, you could pave the way. Way. Is the
All
light
very
and the
slightly.
dark
Yeah, yeah,
Not,
yeah.
not
you
too much.
stay.
Yeah, you're doing like 1 decibel of gain reduction.
Yes.
1 or 2. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes 3.
Yeah.
Depends on the track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also for the high end.
Barely compression on the high end.
Yeah. Okay, here we started
Yeah.
without any any mastering. So
Wow.
it comes over you.
Yeah.
Try to see calling danger in the valley of tears. Try to see
And also the crunchiness of the kick.
Is this real? Makes no sense. Get me up to
And the sustain of the kick, yeah. I think the performance is now much better.
Yeah.
So the song comes closer to you. And also on your iPhone or where you play
of course,
song,
yeah.
it's fat, you
Yeah.
know? It's really fat.
Yeah, one of the things I think people are always thinking, like, why do you use such expensive equipment if it has to come out of like $35 earbuds? That like it's actually a meme on the internet, but I actually think that everything will trickle down. You will hear it in the end.
For 100%.
Yeah.
We bring so much life into it, so,
Yeah.
so it will get out. And you know what's nice? I didn't use much compression because I don't like sausages.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm seeing like a little bit of
It's
movement
only
over here.
touching, yeah.
But what is more interesting, what I notice is that I'm feeling it's already pretty close to the end product now.
we are,
without
yeah.
actually doing a lot.
Yes, yes.
Sounds weird, of
Yeah,
course, but
yeah.
it's of course like layer upon layer. But
Yeah.
we've got like 1 or 2 decibels here. We've got barely something
I
over
think
here.
barely one on
Yeah.
limiting and very little
Yeah.
on the compression. And to be honest, I love the Neve because it adds more color than I like. Of course, I like the compression and the limiting, but it just gives some color.
Yeah.
And I don't. What I said, I don't like sausages. Yeah, I like to eat them, but not
Not in the way
to make
form.
a sausage
Yeah,
in a
okay,
way
yeah.
form. So
Yeah, and it's also
Yeah.
not really needed anymore.
it's not needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the end part, I think I love the stressor absolutely on this track. Maybe it doesn't need, but I think it will add some
yeah, of
some
course.
more
of course.
energy.
Yeah.
Some more. I think I will almost dance when I hear it, but I don't do it. No, I don't do it. No.
All right. The only way to find it out is by trying it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's your time, you can dance, let yourself be free. With your hope and your strength, you could pave the way. As the light in the dark, tell me, won't you stay? Stay. Run, you watch, you're in shock. This is not your place.
Yeah. That's something really nice with. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it brings a little more attention. Our starting point.
Yeah.
Closer. Yeah, and then we can go to the final step to make it for Spotify. It's best level.
All right. So you've got the Pro L.
Yes, I think it's a fantastic plugin. It sounds strange. It's a strange comment for me, maybe, but I mean it. It's really fantastic. And here is where I make the best Spotify level I need.
And then what level are you usually around?
-1 dB true peak, and then
very important, by the way, the -1 dB true
yes,
peak.
it's very important because, and don't make it too loud, you know. So I'm gonna play the whole track, and I'm gonna scan first the short term, and to see and to listen what happens. So before I do anything, I first listen to the track, and then at some point I will use some gain. Yeah, the hottest peak was -11.9.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to listen to the track and do the integrated.
And you have a certain aim already? A number or?
Yeah, -14.
Yeah, of course, minus. Yeah.
Yes, very well. But sometimes it can be a little hotter, of course.
Yeah. So this is it. This is the whole mastering.
This is it. And in terms of level, I use loudness penalty to check.
And I think, of course, there's also something coming from experience, from like uploads from the past and stuff.
Uploads and listening to it. So I did a lot of experimenting which sounds best.
So my main takeaway from this, what do I learn from this apart from what's the value of having a mastering engineer compared to algorithms, is minimal amount of stuff that you're actually doing. So
Yeah.
it's not really about the amount of stuff that something is doing, but more about how you're setting it and thinking about what settings you're dialing in.
Yeah, and I think about the human touch.
Yeah.
Listening to it and reacting on it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's also the layering. All these pieces together give some kind of sound, and it's all piece by piece.
So then there's only one thing left to do, of course, and that's thanking George for today, for reserving the time, for everything.
Yeah. Also, thank you, because it's nice to do, and a nice track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we have to go back to the studio, to my studio, and figure out what the other services are doing. The first instant mastering service I tried was called eMastered, and the cool thing was that it gave an immediate preview. However, I'm not really sure if it was in lossless quality. I couldn't really verify that. Also, the preview wasn't loudness matched, so when switching back and forth between the original and the mastered version, it's pretty easy to get confused by the difference in loudness level. It also gave me a lot of choice, like mastering intensity, compressor intensity, EQ intensity, stereo width, volume, equalization. And quite honestly, I'm letting my track master somewhere else so that I do not need to make those decisions. So this can be really confusing. So I went with everything on the standard setting because, hey, I don't know what to do. I'm playing the role here of somebody that looks for mastering, not the role of a mastering engineer. So everything on standard. And one of the things that I saw, but I saw this on all the services, is that there's no streaming optimized setting or something. eMastered works with a subscription model, which is bad practice. I don't like subscription models, but for this video I paid $50 for a 1-month subscription just so that I could get this file to test this out. Next up is Lander, and Lander does way more than just mastering, but for now we're of course focusing on mastering. And when I logged into my account, I did get a lot of questions, which was a bit annoying, but the mastering process is pretty straightforward. You drop in your file and you get something to read while you're waiting. So you can pick 3 different styles, and you can also select a loudness setting, which doesn't really explain what the setting actually is. Like, is this a streaming loudness, or can we go higher than stream? It doesn't explain it. I went with the default setting yet again. So Lander offers a subscription service. From what I saw, there's only yearly subscriptions. So if you go for a subscription, you have to go for a year. But there's also an on-the-go version, and that costed me $20. Then SoundCloud. So SoundCloud can master the tracks that you have uploaded to SoundCloud, and they are doing this in collaboration with Dolby. SoundCloud starts with entering a preview window. It's not really clear to me if that's really important for the mastering process itself, or if it's just really the part that you want to listen to in order to check your master. The weird thing about SoundCloud is that it gives you 4 choices in colors. They're called Thunder, Sunroof, Aurora, and Clear Sky. And that says nothing at all. Like, it's really confusing. Like, which one should I pick? These are the choices that an engineer is normally making. I went with Aurora because I found that one to sound the best, the cleanest. It fitted the track the best, and yes, I did listen a little bit with a mastering engineer's ear instead of a client's ear, but I had to do something. Also, there's a slider in there with mastering intensity, which, I kept it on 50% because it's a bit risky to play around with it. Like it's you can easily overdo it. So I left it at the default 50%. You can get a subscription at SoundCloud for €11 a month, and one track costed me €5.50. Interestingly enough, there was no HD setting for the delivery or whatever, but I did get a 24-bit file on 44.1 kHz, just as I got with the other services. Then, Masterchannel.ai. And here you can upload your file and you're not getting a preview before payment. Now, Masterchannel did reach out to me and gave me a code so that I could check out for free, which is highly appreciated because this video is probably the most expensive video I've ever made. However, normally a master from a file like I uploaded would cost $21. And again, you're not getting any preview before you have paid. There are no settings to adjust, and quite honestly, this instant service comes closest to a real mastering engineer because of having them make the choices and not you. I'm not saying it's because of the sound. I mean, we'll find that out in a little bit. Now, the last one that I want to check out is Aria. I think it's Aria. And this thing is really cool because they claim to have a robot hand that is doing real-time mastering on analog gear. It sounds a bit science fiction and I'm not sure if I fully believe them, but let's stay with what they're saying on the website, and if it's true, it's absolutely really cool. I want to have such a robot hand in here as well, just because it's cool. Now, when uploading, it is asking your mix type, and I found this to be, again, a bit confusing. I mean, they are explaining some things, but there, for instance, aren't real specifications with like decibel levels or whatever. It's just a bit vague. There was also an advanced mode, but again, that added more to the confusion than added to really creating a good master. A master on Aria costed me $19 and there's no subscription plan, which I think is fair enough. I mean, just pay for a master and that's it. And apparently I can go on for hours and hours and hours with these services. There are a lot of them. And I'm sorry if I couldn't cover your favorite instant mastering service. However, it's now time to listen to the files. Okay, so these are the results. I've got them all over here. So we've got the one from Worldwide Mastering, the one that George did. Over here on the top, we've got Masterchannel, SoundCloud, Lander, eMastered and Aria. What I first want to do before we're going to listen is do a quick loudness scan. So here we can quickly see what the integrated measurement is and also the measurement that all streaming services will use. We can see that the master from George is at 12 LUFS, minus 12 LUFS. That Masterchannel and Lander are pretty loud. Aria, and eMastered are a little bit in the middle, and then SoundCloud is even lower in loudness. Another interesting thing that I saw was these true peak values, which, you know, George was at minus 1 dB true peak as requested by streaming services, which is something that still a lot of people don't know, but they ask us to deliver a minus 1 dB true peak file, which is the best for encoding. It's literally in their spec sheet. I mean, specifications are there for a reason, so why not just follow them? But this is really interesting. Like we've got 0.7, 1.8 even in the red. I'm not sure if these measurements are correct, actually. They almost can't be. Like this much clipping, I actually think that there's an error in the measurement from Reaper. Now, I played a little bit with the gains so that we have an equal loudness shootout. And as you can see here, the integrated measurements are all minus 18 right now. I chose minus 18 to really be below the maximum peak to make sure that there's no artificial clipping and that kind of stuff, that we can really hear what's in the files. Integrated measurement is also what the streaming services would do. So if this track would be mastered by all these different services and then would be on Spotify, this is how they would be normalized. Yeah, let's take a listen and let's start with the master from Sound Vision, and I will of course react in between. I only listened to these briefly just to check if there was any audio coming out. So let's see. So this is already really nice. Like it's how I intended it in the mix. Let's just say that. But I think that you know, when the beat drops is the best part to compare it all. But I just like this intro, so that's why you're watching this now. I really like this intro.
It's your time, you can dance, let yourself be free.
Okay.
With your hope and your strength, you could pave the way.
Wait a second. Wait. So this is like engineer
It's your time, you
George,
can dance, let yourself be.
and this is Masterchannel.
With your hope and your strength, you could pave the way.
My claps are gone. My what?
It's the light in the dark.
Okay. SoundCloud. Let's compare. Let's see if. Whoa.
It's your time, you can dance.
That's better
let
already.
yourself
That's
be
a lot
free.
better. Whoa.
With your hope and your
This is
strength,
not okay.
you could pave the way.
This is. Let's compare this with George.
It's the light in the dark. Tell me, won't you stay?
So
Stay,
there's
stay.
a lot of brightness in that one from George, but it's not that type of annoying brightness or something. It's really, it's not brightness. It sounds really open. It's open.
It's your time, you can dance, let yourself be free.
And that really makes it sparkle towards me.
With your hope and your strength, you could pave the way.
This one has a little bit of an MP3 vibe over it, but on the other hand, that's what I used to hear from like SoundCloud in general. Like from my perspective, SoundCloud never really understood high frequencies. So yeah, let's move on to Lander.
It's your time, you can dance, let yourself be
Hey,
free.
let's compare this to SoundCloud pretty quickly.
With your hope and
Oh.
your strength, you could pave the way.
Listen to the difference in the low frequencies between SoundCloud and Lander. Lander sounds way cleaner in the low frequencies. Listen.
It's your time, you can dance, let yourself be free. With your hope and your strength, you could pave the way.
This really sounds nicer in the low frequencies. Alright, and let's compare it to George.
It's your time, you can dance, let yourself be free. With your hope and your strength, you could pave the way.
Wow.
It's the
Okay, let's move on to E mastered.
It's your time, you can dance, let yourself be free.
I would say a bit of overcompression this.
With your hope and your strength, you
Really
could pave
sounds-
the way.
Sounds a bit cramped.
It's the light in the dark. Tell me, won't you
Yeah.
stay? Stay, stay, stay. Run you watch you shot.
Really, the
This is
life
not
is
your place.
a bit out of it. It's mastered. That's it. Like there's nothing going on. It's a bit crunchy. It feels as if the gain staging is not correct or something. I don't know. Wow, this part where everything comes together. Like, that's not okay. That's not okay. Okay, and now the last one, and this is actually Aria is one that I'm really interested in because it's like a robot, which is cool, controlling analog gear, which is cool. So this is really like, okay, so you have the computer algorithm, but you still have the analog gear. Is analog really making such a difference or not? We're going to find out. And you know how these things go. If the difference is big, then yes, it's the analog gear. And if the difference is not big, then it's caused by the robot. It's not the analog gear. It's never the analog gear. Never.
It's your time, you can dance.
Nice
let
lows.
yourself be free. With your hope and your strength, you could pave the way. It's the light in the dark. Tell me,
Yeah,
won't
just,
you
yeah.
stay?
I mean,
Stay,
difference is so big.
stay.
The difference is so big that this isn't really a compare. Like, why am I doing this? It's not even a comparison. Like, instant mastering, it's cute. But that's it. It's cute. It's definitely not there yet. I don't know how to explain this. You've heard it. This difference is really big. It's surprising to me, actually. It really is. So that's it. I think that both services do have the place in their market. Instant can be really handy if you need something quick and dirty, and it can also help you with your mix if you want to put it under a magnifying glass. However, a mastering engineer gives a lot of added benefits, and from what I've just heard, it just sounds a lot better. Plus you have the added benefit of having an extra engineer, in George's case a super experienced engineer, in your workflow, which can probably only add to the quality of your work. And with that being said, I want to end this video over here. Now for the full disclosure, I'm not in contact with Lander, eMastered, Aria and SoundCloud. I am in contact with the people from Masterchannel, but they only give me like a free checkout, one free mastering so that I could check out their service. There's nothing that I can or can't say about it, and I don't have the feeling that I'm being limited by them. Also, George is a very good friend of mine, and he's actually kind of the reason why my studio exists. He didn't pay me or anything to make this video. I actually invested a lot in order to make this video with an extra camera guy and that kind of stuff. But I think it's something you should note when it comes to the disclosure part of the video. Now, if you like the independence of YC Studio and want to support it, you can do that by becoming a channel member, which is new. Another very cool way to support me is by using my affiliate links. They're in the description down below, but I'll also link them over here. Toman over here and Sweetwater over here. And when you use these links and then buy something in one of those shops, a little bit gets kicked back to me. And you're not paying anything extra. So you get your gear, you're supporting me, but you're not paying extra to do that. It's really cool. I find that to be really cool. Now, the last two ways to support me is by joining my fan club on patreon.com. All the information is on there. It's a bit of the same as a channel membership. The last way to support me and the whole YouTube platform is by watching more videos. So I'll link one of my videos over here, but you can watch other videos around this video. They will probably be about mastering, knowing the YouTube algorithm. I don't know. Anyway, check it out. Thanks a lot for watching. Keep pushing. And bye-bye.